Hi students, what I'm going to do for you today is look at graphing a relation on the TI Nspire CX2 and also determine the key features of that graph. So let's have a look at entering that into our graph page. Now when you enter it, when you initially open the graph page, you'll see it is in function notation. And since this is a relation, not a function, what I need to do is change my entry. So to do that, I go Menu, Graph Entry, Edit, and I want to change it to a relation. Now I could also choose to go to Equation Templates. That does also give me a few options, but sometimes I might not recognize what this graph is. So if I'm recognizing it, I could go and choose the matching template, but let's say I wasn't too sure, I'll just enter it as a relation. If I'm entering it as a relation, I can enter X and Y in the form that it comes up, just making sure it is an equation with two sides. So I'm just going to enter that, X squared plus Y squared minus 6X plus 4Y minus 12 equals 0. Take a moment to just double check that you have entered it correctly, because otherwise you will find problems with the rest of your question and your solutions. And I press enter. I will see a circle. Now the problem here is that my window's not quite big enough, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to change the Y. It's now at negative 6.67, and I'm going to change it to be, let's say, negative 10. Now what's going to happen is it's not going to be nice and symmetrical, so my circle's probably not going to look very much like a circle after I do this, but I'm not too concerned about that. I just want to identify key features. So as I suspected, it doesn't quite look like a circle, but I'm going to use it as is. I'm just going to see if I can make this contrast a little easier to see, just making it a little darker. I think that's a bit better to see. There we go. Now to find the key features, using my menu Analyze Graph doesn't work as well for this, so I want to go down and use specifically Analyze for, sorry, I've gone to the wrong one, Menu, Analyze Graph. I want to go down and use Analyze Conics. I find sometimes selecting the number works a bit better, and so if I want to find the center or the radius, I can go and click on that. So center, and then I go here and I click on what I want, and you will see that your center is there. I'm just going to take my hand and I'm going to try and move some of this out the way. So that is the center. I'm just moving it out the way, and I'm just going to also move this out the way so I can see what's going on. So this is the point that fits there. I've just moved it out the way so I can see what's going on in my graph. I go back to Menu, Analyze, and I want to go down to Analyze Conics, and now I want to find the radius. Again, I just go and select the relation and click, and there I can see the radius is 5. Now the other key features besides the radius and the center are the intercepts. Again, because it's a relation, doesn't work the same, so Analyze actually is not that helpful. What I do is I go to Geometry. Now before I start finding the points, I want to actually just make sure that I'm saying points on. So I go point on, because that will help the calculator to just lock on wherever I hover. So first press point on. Now I go back to that same menu, Geometry. Remember, I've put points on now. and I go to points and lines, and I say that I want to find, oh, actually, just hold on a second. I don't think I have to do anything else. If I go and hover over a point of interest, it will just automatically find that point for me. Do you see how it's put 0 to? So once I've put points on and I hover, it finds the point of interest. Go to the next one where there's something happening, and it will just automatically lock on. Over to the next one, and it will automatically lock on. So if this was an exam question, I could just say that I've used my calculator. I would go and plot the graph, and then as best I can, I will go and label my key features, which is the 3 points, the center, and the radius. And I would transfer my labels from my graphic calculator. So the key things drawing your relation of a circle on your graphic calculator is to make sure that you're entering it as a relation and not a function. So remember, to get there, we went menu, entry, edit, and we changed it to be a relation. You can also use one of the templates. With a relation, I can just enter it exactly as it comes up. Do double check it looks the same. Then, because it's a relation, when I analyze the graph, remember that is not the same process, because when I've got to analyze, I need to go to conics. You can even see it's got a little circle there. So I need to go to analyze conics, and then I can choose anything here. If you're doing sideways parabola, another relation, you'll see you can even get your axis of symmetry and your vertex. So you can also use this for your sideways parabola. When I'm finding intercepts, I cannot go to zeros because it doesn't work. I need to go to geometry, and I need to put my points on. So I go to 2 and I say point on. That's telling my calculator to look for any points that I hover over. So then when I hover over my intercept, it automatically gives me the points. And remember, you would then transfer that onto your solution. Thanks for listening. I hope that helps.